Welcome to Two and a Half Brains. This is our latest episode of Survivor Season 44, Episode 5 recap. We're going to break it all down, talk all about it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. Email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe right there on the YouTube channel. Share the post, tell your friends, and we'll break it all down for you. This is, again, the 5th episode of the show, Survivor Season 44. And we'll talk all about it, like I said. Definitely subscribe and share the post, tell your friends, and let us know what you think of the episode and also of our recap as well. So let's go ahead and dive right on here without any further ado. Let's go ahead and bring in Jessica. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing?
No, I'm here.
Here by force, yes. Here, not here with bells on, here with the chain on.
All right.
Exactly. So, any general thoughts in the episode? General thoughts?
No one can see I saluted, but general thoughts. I mean, it was fine. Some things happened that I kind of was just waiting for to happen anyways, and some more developments of alliances or non-developments of alliances and such, and yeah. But it was fine. Yeah,
it's been such a weird season. Like it hasn't necessarily been boring, but also hasn't been good.
Everything's just been very basic.
It really has.
Vanilla.
Yeah, it's been pretty vanilla. I think you're right. So I'm hoping the merge will be good. The merge is next week, so hopefully that will help make things a little better, shake things up. But
don't break my pen.
I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're merging at 12, which they have been doing. It's very rare that you see a tribe of 3 go to tribal council. In this case, we were about to see it, and then it obviously didn't happen. So we'll talk about what happened instead. Let's go ahead and talk about the episode. Talk about the 3 moments that matter. Talk about who did not survive, more literally in this case. And then the top player or the bottom player of the week, everybody else, plus or minus, and of course the bottom player. Bottom player. Everybody else and then top player. I've only done this like 100 million times, so it's hard to remember.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead though and start with the 3 moments that matter. Jessica kicks off. Moment that matter number 1 is
blinded by love.
What the heck does that mean?
Oh, Matt, not Matthew. Matt. So, Matt and Jamie were walking through, the forest, discussing or whatever you want to call it, the trees, whatever. Kind of talking, and Jamie was trying to build a bond with him, saying, I really want to work with you, obviously, I'm here to work with whoever, and he was just kind of yeah, I'll keep that option open, but I'm not so sure about that, and basically said how he's blinded by everything because of how much he likes Franny and is just kind of following her like a puppy and not really playing at all. He's just happy he met her on this game, and that's all I think it is.
Such an idiot. So they did yoga at the kind of beginning of it too, which was got everybody in a good mood and whatever. But the thing is, Matt, you moron.
Jesus. Someone wants to work with you, just say yes. You don't even have to. Just freaking say it.
Like Jonathan Penner, I think was it Jonathan Penner? No, Jonathan Penner made that mistake on his last season he played. There was a final. Two people came to him with a final 3 deal. I think there was 7 people left in the game, whatever, and they said, we want to work with you and whoever, and I make a final 3 and go to the end. And he says, oh well, we don't have to make the decision yet, blah blah blah. And they said, all right, you don't work with us, you want the other side, vote him out.
As soon as someone says that, it's over.
Right, exactly. And they said, he didn't say yes. He said okay. He said, well, let's wait till you get a little closer and make a decision. And they didn't want to. They wanted to make a decision now, so they went over to the other person didn't want to work with necessarily, but they worked with that person instead, and Jonathan missed his chance. I think it was Jeff Varner who said it. He says, I don't care what the question is. The answer is yes. And that's and he's not a great Survivor player. He's played 3 times, never made the merge, or never made the jury, I guess. But it's completely true. The answer is always yes. Even if you nobody else here know, or let me think about it. No one else here know, or they want to think about it, or let me think about it. All right, the answer is always yes. I'll do it. You want to be in an alliance? Yes. Why are you closing that door? Why? I know you're.
And he's gone, then you're screwed.
Well, right, and why are you closing that off? I mean, regardless if you want to work, she's not asking you to date. She's asking you to maybe vote together at some point.
Yeah.
And she's in desperate spots because she's got swapped over to you, so she'll probably do whatever you tell her to do because she needs the alliance. So you're closing that off to her because you like Franny. Okay, I love Jessica. Does that mean I can't also do other things? I can't also work on my job and build my future?
Yeah. She can't go hang out with chicks. No,
Right.
That's a no.
Right. Well, if my
That's
boss,
also Rena Bob
if
situation.
right, if my boss is a woman and is helping me advance my career, and make money, can I say I can't do that, boss, because I'm married?
Obviously not.
Right. It's just stupid. It's just silly.
It's a freaking game.
Right. And it's not even like he's married. He's never even been on a date with a girl.
He's been a date with the girl.
A date with this girl. I
Not
mean,
with this girl.
that's what I mean.
No.
He's never been on a date with this girl.
No. All I can think about is after this game. He doesn't even care about the game anymore. He just wants the game to end so him and Franny can ride off into the sunset.
Just so stupid.
Basically.
So stupid.
He's not letting his love open the door, is all I heard.
The love is closing the door.
The love is definitely closing the door.
And I guess, he just got a relationship. He's in an emotional state. I get all that. But then don't go on Survivor.
Yeah.
Like, you're here to play the game. So many people would love to play the game. Like, ask Jessica Figueroa if it was worth it. She dated a guy on the game. They were obsessed with each other. They swapped together.
Spit.
I'm sorry. They swapped together, and it was a tribe of 5. It was 2 of them and 3 other people, and she got voted out. All she would have had to do is not be in a showmance with him, and it fall into his beautiful eyes, and she would have stayed in the game. And guess what? The whole time they were dating on the island, he had a girlfriend at home. So she lost her. She was a big fan of the game. He really wasn't, but she lost her chance at the game for some dude who had a kid on the way at home.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But she lost her chance at the game because, showmance. Stupid.
Yeah. Well, also, Jamie isn't really aware of their situation, so why not pull someone in that doesn't know about it?
The rest of the tribe knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the rest of the tribe knows, so this is your only chance to really have somebody new who doesn't know.
Yep.
And, let's see what happens.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's like,
Maybe.
dude,
I haven't made a decision.
You idiot. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. Let's go talk about moment matter number 2.
Journey for food.
What was that all about?
So the Orange Tribe won immunity, and they got to pick 3 people to go on the journey again. They picked Brandon from their team, Carolyn from the Green Tribe, or Blue Tribe, Purple, oh my gosh. Any color. And then Danny from the Green Tribe to go to that island. Said they get there, they say stroll along the beach, get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. And then they get to the end, and there's basically a sign that says, there's nothing for you to wager or anything. There's no idols, sit and eat. And that's about it.
Yeah. And so the whole journey, they've been doing... I do like this journey this time better. They've seemed like... A lot of times survivors will learn from their mistakes, and then a lot of times they'll double down on stupid. Or they'll overreact. The survivor does one of 3 things every time, every season. When there's a twist that, even if it's somewhat controversial, every time there's a twist in the game or a different area they're trying to play with, they'll do one of 3 things. They'll either double down on stupid, just do the same thing over and over again and double down on it, even though it's stupid and everybody hates it.
Edge of Extinction.
Edge of Extinction, freaking Fired, Final Four, stupid. Those kinds of things. People don't like it, but they still do it. They'll do that. They'll completely overcorrect. And our casting hasn't been as good. So let's throw the whole casting that's got us 38 seasons of great players and a couple duds. And let's completely throw that out for just completely new stuff that is just stupid.
Right.
Or they'll learn from it and tweak it a little.
Right.
And the third one is usually the best option. In this case, they've kind of learned from the journey thing.
It's the best option. It doesn't mean that's what they're going to do.
No, right. That's usually that's what they should do. They should tweak it.
Yeah.
They should tweak it. Make it better.
I bring back fire tokens. That was
Absolutely.
actually interesting, and they only did it for a very little time.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is I like what they're doing with this time with this journey thing.
Because it's not always going to either risk your vote or not risk your vote for something.
Not putting a million advantages in the game, that kind of thing. In this case, it was very simple. You can tell them what you want to tell them, tell your tribe what you want to tell them. All you're going to do is eat food and talk.
Build cross-tribal alliances or not. It is up to you.
And give them strength for future challenges and stuff like that. For the merge, in this case. Yeah, right. For sure. So, I like it. All they had to do was, they got to talk and everything, hang out. the whole time, and they got to decide what they wanted to do when they got back to camp. How they were gonna spin it. We didn't see what Brandon did when we went back to camp. I don't think we saw it at all.
No, they didn't.
Danny, I think we maybe.
No, they just went right back to purple.
Yeah.
That's all they could because they had to get into all that drama. But we'll talk about that next.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the journey was interesting though this time, and it was funny because Danny and Brandon really hit it off a lot. They were talking all basically had a romance.
Rose, yeah.
But after that, so and if you were paying attention to this episode, you kind of could tell where it was going. They had a little bit after the immunity challenge. They talked to Matthew because he had to set out of the challenge again. And early in the episode, he was talking to somebody about how his shoulder was hurting. They was talking to maybe Carson or whatever about how his shoulder was really hurting. And then he set out of the second straight immunity challenge. And of course, the big buff dude set out of the immunity challenge. Jeff has the coronary. So, he's got to be like, oh, Matthew, your shoulder must be wrong. Something must be wrong with your shoulder. Please hang on after the challenge. We'll have medical take a look at you.
They all knew he was injured from before, though. Yeah. So, if he's constantly sitting out and, maybe there's still an issue. Who knows?
Sure. Fair.
Still in the sling.
But, if anybody else sits out, it's like, oh, we should make fun of you sitting out.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Matthew, and if you're paying attention again, they usually last commercial break is them walking to tribal, right? Quote unquote walking.
Why don't we just say what
to tribal, right? So so to set it up, usually you can see what that is. Usually it's them walking to tribal, then they come back from commercial break, they're at tribal, and there's 12 minutes left in the episode. Well, they went to the final commercial break with about 12 minutes left in the episode, came back, and they still hadn't gone to tribal with 5 minutes left. So you knew what was gonna happen. And what happened?
No tribal.
Why?
Because of what you just said. They pulled Matthew from the game, or he pulled himself from the game because he's still injured and he's not healing. And he can't take care of himself while he's there.
Yeah, right. So he was there his shoulder was hurting. He got hurt day 2, and he was okay. They said, they told him to keep his arm in the sling, but he wanted to compete in the challenge and try to help his team. And he did that, which is great, but it's been hurting more and more. It's been getting worse. And like you said, he can't really take care of himself when he's on the island. He's got to, kind of do that. So they said it's probably a worse tear than it initially seemed. And he probably did worse with it while he's been on the island. He's probably made it worse. So what is this? Is this technically a quit or what?
Probably. They didn't pull him out of the game. They just had him checked out and he had to decide.
Yeah. So and obviously he's, his shoulder's hurting. So he it's one of those things where it's you can say, and remember, it was Millennials versus, no, it wasn't Millennials versus Gen X. No, it was David versus Goliath. The Pat guy got hurt. I'm surprised he doesn't come back yet either. That's another one. He should, if anybody deserves a second chance to come back from who got injured, it's that dude, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's riding a boat back from the challenge and freaking gets hurt. Yeah. Has this absolutely nothing to do with him. That Survivor screwed him royally. He should definitely get another chance. But and then later, a couple episodes later, that girl, the MMA fighter B, she got hurt as well. She hurt her knee, and they asked her. They said, "Well, we're not pulling you from the game because you're technically fine." But she says, "Well, I use my legs for my profession. I don't want to sit out here and have it get worse." Right. So she left. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with Matthew today.
And probably doesn't have food to eat, so he can't build up the muscle or anything with not eating.
Right, and he's a barber, so he uses his hands and arms all the time and whatever. So I mean, I don't know how much that goes into it or not, but it's one of those things where he could keep it going for another couple, another week or so. It's really 2 weeks after the game. It's day 11. There's 26 days, so it's 2 weeks left. But he's not eating. He's not, all he's doing is straining it more by playing the challenges, and he's not eating, so he can't build it, like I said, to make it better. So it's technically, I guess, he was medically given a reason to leave, and he took it. So it's not really a quit, but it's kind of a, medical didn't pull him. So that's what happened. That's so they didn't have to go on tribal, and the purple team lost again. So they would have been down to 2 people, which would be really interesting which way they went, because Carolyn did have her idol. But we didn't see because it didn't happen.
Right. So
with all that being said, what's next?
Who did not survive?
And so obviously, it's more of the strategic part of it, who did not survive, and why they get voted out, what they did wrong. We can't really talk about that in this case, right? Because they didn't get voted out, but I can't say what they did wrong.
Climbed a rock.
Climbed a freaking rock. Why?
Because he wanted a survivor experience.
And he got it by falling and hurting his shoulder and pulled from the game.
Right.
So, lesson of survivors: don't be an idiot. He was doing well. He was, he said his only regret was climbing the rock in the game, which he was set up really well. He was building good bonds. I mean, he just got pulled from the game, right? We can look. So we have to cross him off our list here, but he was a minus, plus, 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 and he was probably going to get another plus this week. He didn't get pulled from the game. Like, just dude, like, I get it, but don't be stupid. And what he did was stupid, and he got himself injured and pulled from the game. And now the second man has gone out of the game this season out of 6. Both were injured.
Right.
No man has been voted out yet. Both of the two just got injured. One from diving headfirst into a pole, and one from falling off a freaking rock cliff. Like, just. Also, any idea why men die sooner than women?
Because they make stupid decisions.
Yes. Correct.
Yep.
My life expectancy of men is like 6 years shorter than women. Any idea why?
Because they're dumb.
Yes. Correct.
I know.
You're married to one, so you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that cheerful note, let's go ahead and talk about the bottom player of the week, and then we'll talk about the rest of the cast, and we'll finish up with the top player of the week. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the bottom player of the week this week, Jessica?
Matt. The other Matt.
Yeah, so the one who's still in the game, Matt.
Right.
Why is he the bottom player?
Because he doesn't care to even play the game.
Right. I mean, come on. You're there to play, like fans get on people who, set out challenges or who quit or whatever. But it's like, how about you get on the players who don't even play? Like, I can see if you're playing a different strategy that you're not used to playing or whatever. But, you're not even playing the game. You're just there. You're just there trying to get laid or something. It's, so stupid.
Mm-hmm. He's just waiting for it to end.
I mean, I get it. And hopefully they live happily ever after and everything like that. But, dude, it's a chance for $1 million. And it's something you want to do for your whole life. And you're throwing away for what? And he's not going to win?
No.
He's got no chance. 0 chance. Carolyn has a better chance. That's horrible. He's got the single worst chance of winning the game. And he just has, like I said, he's so blinded by his infatuation. It's just like, come on, get your head out of your ass. So with those 2 negatives, he's the first person to have 2. He's the first player to be the bottom player of the week twice. And that gives him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives out of 5 weeks.
He sucks.
He's doing really bad.
Yeah.
And it's just I've never seen, especially who knows the game. Like, come on. And maybe I get there's editing and all that, but oh god. If they would have gone to tribal, they should have voted him out when went to tribal, obviously, but they didn't. But it's just dumb. Like, come on, man. Come on. What are you doing?
I'm looking for the cat. If you know what I mean.
I understand. Let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the cast. So I'm talking about Matt anymore. Matthew's gone. Matt is a fool. Let's talk about the rest of the cast, starting with
Josh.
Josh got a plus or minus this week?
Plus.
And why?
Showed a fake idol and then got called out on it, but
yeah, so that wasn't too good. He showed a fake idol and they're like, yeah, that's the stuff he pulled from. That's stuff he pulled from Tree Mail or from the whatever. He's like, no,
yeah.
Like, no, this is a real idol, guys. It's like, okay, no, it's not. It's like, was it? It's like, is that you? Are you interviewing yourself? No, that guy's British, right? From How Much Brother, right? It's just like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a fake idol. And they obviously didn't believe it. But the good news is he was building a relationship with Jam Jam, and he was kind of on the bottom, and he seemed like he could kind of go either way. He seemed like he could have worked with Carolyn or Jam Jam. Near the end of it, maybe not as much. Carolyn seemed to be against him, but overall, I also think he thinks he's a better player than he is too, which is maybe a problem.
Yeah.
But he told his personal story this week too, so hard to give a thumbs down when you hear all he's gone through in his life, all the different. He had cancer and he had liver, kidney disease, and everything. It's just a lot. So
Yeah.
you feel for him. And he said I don't think he's in a terrible spot, but he was a player of the week last week, and this week definitely not as good. But I don't think he took too much of a step back.
Yeah.
What's he at for total?
He's at a +1. So 2 negatives, 3 pluses.
Actually, it's 4 plus.
Oh, 4. Sorry. So 2 pluses.
+2. Yep, perfect. Who's next?
Carolyn.
And Carolyn, what she got?
A negative.
Why?
Because she's out of her mind.
She's just so scattered, right? That's the thing, right? I mean, she is. She's all over the place, like you said. She's, and she's not in a bad spot. I mean, she didn't want to play her idol this time. She wanted to save it. She obviously didn't need to play it, but she has the idol, and some people are starting to get on her. Like, I don't think she's as dumb as she's letting on. She is, but she also has some strategic ability. But like you said, I mean, she's so all over the place. Like she hated Sarah, and then so she voted out Sarah. Then her and Jam Jam were best friends. Then she hated Jam Jam, and then she loved Josh. Now she hates Josh and loves Jam Jam. It's like, oh my god.
So when she hears something that makes her feel uncomfortable, she starts losing it.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if, so season 32, Jenny Lanzetti she described herself as having low impulse control. That's pretty much Carolyn, right? Mm-hmm. Like very low impulse control. It's like, oh, that's a shiny object. Like just you can't play the game that way. You've got to be somewhat stable to play the game, and she's not. So she's a thumbs down. And what does that give her?
Gives her 1, 2. So neutral.
Even, yeah, exactly. Surprisingly, she's even. She should probably be lower, but she's had a couple good weeks in there. Who is next?
Brandon.
And Brandon, what about him?
He has a +.
Yep. Why? Anything? Reason why?
Just developing a relationship with Danny on the island and just being in a good spot on his tribe and continually winning immunity.
Yeah, that's really hard to say even where he is on his own tribe, but like you said, he's building good relationships across the tribe. They're going to merge soon anyways. He's been doing well in the challenges. We haven't really seen him really build a ton of bonds on his own tribe, but I think a big part of that is actually Matthew was kind of the nucleus of that. So with Matthew out of the game now, I think that's even going to free him up. Maybe he can, somebody's going to pick up those pieces, and it might as well be him. I don't know if it will be or not, but Matthew going out, he was kind of the glue that held that tribe together. So I'm interested to see now what happens. But like you said, yeah, he's building good bonds. He's doing great in the challenges. I think he'll be targeted probably soon because he's a big challenge threat. But like I said, if he can work with the other big strong guys, the big strong guys usually go out because they don't work together. If they can work together, that could help for sure. So I get the plus this week. And what's the at for the week?
+4.
Total of +4. Yep, exactly. And next,
Carson.
What about him?
He's a +.
Yes, and why?
I mean, they keep winning immunity, and they definitely were bringing him into alliances. He was with Matthew, but now obviously Matthew gone, but I think he's still in a good spot.
Yeah, he's working with Kane still. I mean, everybody seems to kind of want to work with him. He seems to be in a really good spot. His old tribe really liked him. His new tribe likes him. I think he's doing pretty well. And he's another plus this week, so he's at +5. Yeah, so a plus every week, so he's +5. Pretty steady. Next.
Franny.
Yeah, and what about her?
+.
Yep, and why?
She's doing more than Matt is, but she's not really in a bad spot with anybody on her tribe.
Yeah, it could go either way. Like I said, she said that Jamie she was building alliance with Jamie, right? I think it was, and a little bit, and she's like, it'll be good to know if somebody's targeting Matt, so I can let him know. So, or also so you can win the game, right?
Yeah.
Like Jamie, we want to talk about Jamie coming to my alliance so I can protect Matt, or you can use the alliance to play the game.
Right.
So people seem to want to work with her, but she's also very blinded and like just being dumb. So I give her a little bit of a plus this week just because I've been giving her minuses, but she's definitely not doing a great job. But I guess better than not this week. What's she at now total?
-1.
Perfect. And next up is
Kane.
And Kane. Is Kane able to do better this week?
What?
Kane able to do better. Kane and Abel. Okay, so what Kane get this week,
Plus,
and why?
making a relationship with Carson.
That's pretty much it, right? I mean, he's not been, he's the nerd on his tribe. He's like he's the nerd, but isn't it kind of seem like the nerd because he's kind of bigger, dude? Like it seems like he's kind of like ripped, but maybe he's just pudgy. I don't know. But either way, he's the nerdy guy. He's relating well to the other nerdy guy, so that's a good option for him. I don't think that one alliance is gonna be enough to carry him to the end, but it's better than what he was doing. He was just kind of floating on the ether. He was the only ally he really solidly had was Maddie, and she's out already. So,
Right.
Getting another alliance for him seems to be helpful, and that alliance very well may help Kane help Carson win, because I think I don't think Kane has a ton of stock or agency in the game right now, but that alliance is better than it was, better than nothing, and it might help Carson go far. So you get the plus, and what did I give him for the total?
-1.
-1, perfect. And we jump down to Lauren. What did Lauren get?
Negative.
And any idea why? She was on the show.
Yeah.
She sadly made a challenge, didn't have a confessional, didn't do anything, wasn't a part of the show at all. And again, a lot of times too, the people who win a lot of challenges early on, the tribes who win a lot early on don't get a ton of airtime, right? I mean, when Erica won, her tribe didn't go to tribal council at all, right? So she wasn't even on the show. Marianne, her season, she had, she was on early, but they won like 4 or 5 challenges in a row, and she wasn't on a ton. So the tribes who don't go to tribal council don't get as much airtime. So that is also part of the problem for Lauren. But again, set out of the challenge, didn't have any confessionals. I can't really give her a plus. What's she at for the year so far?
-3.
Yep. And next.
Yam Yam.
Yep, Jam. What is he at?
Jam. Negative.
And why?
Because he started to get paranoid with his alliances.
Yeah, he's been all over the place again too. I mean, obviously it's hard when your only ally left is Carolyn. And not that it wasn't his fault. He didn't necessarily want Sarah to get voted out. He wanted Josh to get voted out, but he did kind of start rebuilding some with Josh and all like that. But I don't really know if the vote went down. I feel like Jam probably would have been gone. I mean, maybe Josh played. Maybe they do vote together about Josh, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't really tell where he is on this. Maybe he's better than Josh. Maybe he got the plus and Josh got the negative, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like he's got Carolyn as really his only ally, where I think Josh has more options.
Yeah, most likely.
And then obviously we skip Matt.
Yam Yam has a +1.
Oh yeah, Amy has a +1. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Next is Heidi.
Yeah. Negative.
Yep. Why?
She really hasn't done much this episode.
Yeah, wasn't really on the show. Hasn't really been doing much, really at all. So she's a negative again. Not really on the show. But again, if tribe wins immunity, you don't really get much airtime. And her tribe, I think, is the one that's dominated by the showmans, right? Or I think she's on that tribe now, or she's on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So her tribe's the one with the showmans. So it's like that's all I talk about on that tribe is the showmans. Mm-hmm. Next, we'll skip down to the bottom one here.
She is a +1.
-1. Perfect. And finally,
Jamie.
And Jamie, what's she at?
Negative.
And again, not doing much. She's going to the people and they're talking about, yeah, we'll work with you maybe, sort of, I don't know. And she talks about yoga a lot, and that's all I know about her.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what's she at?
-5.
Yeah, 1 negative a week. So, again, hasn't done anything worth a positive so far. And that's it for the rest of the cast. Finally, we'll go ahead and wrap up then with the Player of the Week this week. Second time this player has been Player of the Week. That's exciting. So another 2 pluses for this person. And the Player of the Week is? Danny, yeah. So what's it? Give his total now.
+6.
+6. Wow, awesome. So he's in a really good spot. Looks like the best player so far this season. And why is Danny the Player of the Week?
Building alliances with Brandon, and their tribe is also winning.
Yeah, they're winning a lot. He's building alliances with Brandon. The only thing I would say, I didn't like how the 3 of them kind of didn't include Carolyn, but they wanted to work with each other, and that's what they were doing. But then it kind of had a bromance, which is fine, but you want to keep all your options open. And I want to say before too, social game isn't that hard. right? It's just talking to people on their level. You know, Jam and Josh were mad at each other. They weren't working together because they voted against each other in the previous Scrabble. But they talked to each other about something they could relate to, and they built a bond from that. You know, Danny talking to Brandon about stuff that they built a bond with that. You know, a social game isn't that hard. You just gotta talk to people on their level about what they want to talk about. Super simple.
Yep.
And so that was Danny, Player of the Week again, doing a good job. It's very impressed. I know you didn't think he'd do well. I didn't think he'd do that well either, but he's really showing some good stuff. He also has an idol and everything else.
Yeah, for firefighter, thought he might be out sooner just because of him being a strong person.
Yeah, strong and kind of, it seemed like a bit of a meathead, but he seems smart, and he was kind of leading the yoga earlier, which was weird. But cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think it was an episode that was fine. It wasn't anything that blew anybody away. It's kind of the season's been that way. There's been a couple of really like wow episodes, but overall, nothing's been too like mind blowing. So.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Getting tired.
Yes.
Yes, me too. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up here. Obviously, I'm glad we're going to get out right after the episode, so that's good news. And we'll try to get them out right after the episode if we can going forward. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. You can email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, and tell your friends. We'll be back next week, hopefully right after the episode, to recap it and break it all down for you. It's a merge episode, so it should be fun. And we'll see how things get reshuffled at the merge there. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for sharing the post and leaving comments. And anything else, Jessica?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. And I got nothing else either. And I've got nothing else for now until next week. And I've got nothing else for you. Because the tribe has spoken.